Animal reproduction. Reproduction is the most distinguishing feature of the living world. It is indispensable for the continuity of life. Most organisms of a species produce young ones at least once in their lifetime. It ensures the survival of their race and helps in the evolution of their future generations. Reproduction is the process of giving birth to young ones. The organisms that give birth are called parents, and the young ones produced are called offsprings. On the basis of how they produce their young ones, animals can be divided into two groups. Animals that lay eggs, like birds, ducks, reptiles, and insects. Animals that give birth to young ones, like humans and all other mammals. Animals that lay eggs. Some animals reproduce by laying eggs. This is known as oviparity. The eggs are laid by the parent, after which the embryo grows inside it. The parent keeps the eggs safe and warm until they hatch into a young one. In time, the young one grows into an adult and the cycle continues. Structure of an egg. Eggshell. It is the hard outermost covering which protects the egg from dust and infection. It allows gaseous exchange through its surface and helps the developing embryo to breathe. Albumen. Inside the eggshell is a thick, opaque liquid called albumen or egg white. It is made up of protein and water. Yolk. Yolk is the yellowish liquid which is rich in nutrients like proteins, vitamins, and minerals. It provides nutrition to the growing embryo. Embryo. Embryo lies within the yolk. It is from the embryo that the offspring develops. Amazing fact. Archaeopteryx, a bird-like dinosaur, is the ancestor of all birds. Birds. The mother bird builds a nest and lays eggs in it. It sits on them to keep them warm. This is known as incubation. The embryo, after going through several stages of development, breaks out of the eggshell as a young one. For a few days after its birth, the young one stays in the nest and depends upon its mother for food and protection. It leaves the nest once its wings develop and it fully grows into a mature bird. Hen is an example of bird. It lays eggs and keeps them warm to provide embryos the right temperature to develop. It takes about 3 weeks for an embryo to fully develop and break out of the egg. The embryo which hatches out of the egg is known as hatchling. The young chick lives under the care of its parent until it grows into an adult. A fully grown hen is capable of laying eggs. No more. The egg of the ostrich bird is the largest among all egg-laying animals. Fishes. The eggs of fishes are laid and hatched underwater. Spawning is the process of laying eggs. They are generally released in a large number and are known as spawns. The eggs do not have a hard protective covering. Instead, they are enclosed in a jelly-like covering. Warm water facilitates the developmental process of the embryo. The eggs hatch and the larvae come out. The young fish is known as fry. It undergoes metamorphosis to become a juvenile fish. It further grows and becomes mature. An adult fish is capable of laying eggs. Insects. Insects can undergo 2 types of life cycles. Incomplete metamorphosis. It includes 3 developmental stages. Insects like cockroach, cricket, and grasshopper undergo incomplete metamorphosis. The egg hatches to release a nymph. The nymph looks similar to a grown insect of the same species, except it is smaller. It has soft outer layer and has no wings. It has the same feeding and living habits as the grown insect. In some time, the nymph outgrows its skin and sheds it to grow a new one. This is known as molting. The process repeats a few more times until the nymph finally becomes an adult. Complete metamorphosis. It includes 4 developmental stages. This kind of life cycle is seen in insects like butterfly, ant, mosquito, and housefly. At first, the egg hatches and the larva comes out. It is worm-like and looks quite different from the mature insect. The larva of a butterfly is called a caterpillar, and that of a housefly is called maggot. The only purpose of the larva is to eat and grow in size. It can eat more than several times its body weight and quickly grow in size. The larvae of mosquitoes live in stagnant water and feed on the aquatic microbes. The larval stage ends when the larva develops a hard protective shell called cocoon around it. This stage is known as pupa. Inside the shell, the larva transforms and a fully grown insect with wings comes out after maturity. This process is known as metamorphism, wherein the body structure of developmental stages of an insect is completely different from that of the mature stage. No more. The carbon dioxide you breathe out signals the mosquitoes around you that a food source is nearby. Amphibians. Amphibians are the animals that can live in water as well as on land. Frogs are an example of this class of animals. The life cycle of a frog has 4 growth stages. A mature female frog lays the eggs in a bunch called spawn. Each egg has a transparent outer layer to protect the embryo from drying up. The embryo grows and releases the early larva called tadpole. A tadpole lives in water like a fish. It has a tail and uses gills for breathing in water. At later stages of development, the tadpole grows legs and its tail starts to reduce. An adult frog is tailless and has lungs for breathing. It can now live on land. No more. Axolotl is an amphibian which can lay eggs in its larval stage. It can also regenerate itself if it loses any of its body part. Reptiles. Reptiles are a class of animals having very tough outer skin made up of scales or plates that are as strong as bones. Lizard, crocodile, turtle, and snake are members of this class. Reptiles also reproduce by laying eggs. The female lays eggs in a hole in the ground or in a nest. These eggs receive warmth from the sun and break to release the hatchlings. After some time, the young ones grow up into an adult. Animals that give birth to young ones. Animals belonging to the class of mammals do not lay eggs. They directly give birth to their young ones. This is known as viviparity. Human beings, tiger, cow, dog, bat, etc. are members of this class. The young ones of all mammals feed on their mother's milk during the initial stages of growth period. Animals like duck-billed platypus and spiny anteater are an exception. They are the mammals which lay eggs. Some of the main characteristics of mammals are: they have hair on skin for keeping their body warm. It also enhances their sensitivity towards the surroundings. The brain of mammals is highly developed and is bigger than that of other animals. Mammals are warm-blooded animals. It means they can keep their bodies warm irrespective of the temperature of their surroundings. They breathe through their lungs. Aquatic mammals like whales and dolphins also breathe through lungs. They have a blowhole in their head instead of a nose to help in the passage of air. Mammals also show parental care and look after their young ones.